Maybe. There we are. Back live here on our world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. Also, iHeartRadio today, KJAGradio.com. We have got Zaragoza with us today. Join us live here on our big broadcast. They are from, he's a singer-songwriter, and of course, from the L.A. area. How are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Pretty good, actually. So tell me a little bit about how you got started doing the music thing.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I was raised on blues music. My dad was a blues musician ever since I can remember, so he always had bands and playing gigs. And then when I was about 13, I started picking up the guitar and started playing rock and metal, and, was into, like, Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, all that good stuff, and started a metal band and did that for like a good 16 years or so, 17 years, and we toured a lot, put out a couple albums, played some festivals, and, as things do, the band, just kind of parted ways. All good things must come to an end, sort of. And so rather than keep going with the same style of music, I decided to put out some singer-songwriter acoustic stuff because that was a side that I've always liked, but I never really got to express. And so last year, put out my first EP under Zaragoza. That was Child of the Sun. That hit Billboard charts. We sold about just under 1,000 copies on the road. And then released the follow-up this past April. It's called Caffeine. And, it's been good ever since, bro.
We have got Zaragoza with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. So you've released this music video, Brand New Life. We're going to play that here in a few moments. Tell me about your musical heroes and influences.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Brand New Life, that was a great video. Shot it on the beach right here in Santa Cruz. And, as far as influences go, my favorite band of all time is the Beatles. I really like, the 60s stuff, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan. As far as songwriting, Bob Dylan, guitar playing, Jimi Hendrix, and I think the Beatles are they're kind of a combination of everything, and they just changed music forever. But really, I don't care so much about genre as I care more about if it's good or not. So, like I said, I mentioned Metallica and Ozzy Osbourne and Pantera. That was like my teenage angst years, and songwriting, modern stuff. I like Jack Johnson, John Mayer. So, and then the blues too, as I've mentioned. So somewhere in that, I kind of came up with my own unique style, and from the blues and the metal stuff, I could kind of get a little rasp on my voice, and then borrowing from Bob Dylan and the Beatles, the songwriter stuff comes in, and Jack Johnson, John Mayer, and then guitar is my primary instrument, so guys like Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, I always try and put a little bit of flair into my playing, a little bit something extra instead of just regular chords and whatnot.
We've got Zaragoza with us today. Joins us live here in our broadcast. Zaragoza is available on the internet. How do we find you? Social media, websites, all these things.
Yeah, so it's spelled just like the city in Spain with a Z, Zaragoza. It's on all streaming platforms, YouTube, Instagram. Hop over to the Instagram, say hello, and always try and be interactive over there. And the website, it's out there. It's definitely out there.
So tell me about your social media following, because you've got a pretty interesting social media following. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, definitely. I've just been trying to build it up, I think that's something that's important for not only musicians, but anyone that's starting a business or marketing or personal branding. So Instagram, I'm pretty active over there. Got people from all around the world hitting me up. It's really nice to, have like people from all over the world reposting your stuff, and they're just normal fans, regular people, and you know, I'll get fans from everywhere from Brazil to Indonesia to even places, you know, like Iraq, and as well as like Europe and America and all that good stuff. But the other ones are kind of nice because they're different. And YouTube, building that, Facebook, you know, got some followers on there. But you got to kind of figure out where your fans are and where you're getting the most feedback from. So Instagram's worked out really good for me. TikTok, you know, I haven't really dug into it, but as a musician, whether you like it or not, you know, it's part of what you got to do. You got to branch out there. So I'm up on TikTok. My music's up there. I haven't really dug into it. Maybe that's the next step. But, you know, it's cool because all of TikTok is kind of revolved around music. People put a song up and they do whatever. They dance or show pictures of their puppies or whatever, you know, and they have your music in the background. So it's just the next step, the next evolution of where social media is going. So, but Instagram's the main big one for me.
We have got Zaragoza with us today. He joined us live here on the telephone, talking a little bit about his music. So tell me about the production process and everything with this Caffeine project.
Yeah, definitely. So Caffeine was the follow-up to my first EP, Child of the Sun, and Child of the Sun was a pretty big success, so I felt kind of intimidated coming out with Caffeine because I had to match up to that or be better than that. And what resulted was something even more unique and more close to my heart, and it's even more singer-songwriter based. And so I wrote the songs, did some of the production at home, did some of the tracking at home, and then once I got it kind of stable, I brought it over to my producer, Michael Reed, and he's got a home studio in Calabasas, and we kind of polished the songs over there, and he's great. He's worked for it with everyone from, you know, Ben Harper to Mick Jagger, and so it's really good to have his guidance and his help, especially without having a band. It's just you and your music. So an outside perspective that you trust, main thing is that you trust, is very important. And yeah, so he mixed it, he put it all together, and production-wise, we're going for, you know, singer-songwriter, coffee house type of music, and sometimes we'll put another, you know, just add little production here, add little production there, and try and make it a little bit bigger than just a guitar and vocal, but still keep that homey kind of sound in there. And then we got, you know, the last track on there, A Million Miles, is just acoustic guitar and singing, just straight old school rock and roll recording, which is great. And a lot of people have actually responded to that song really well. And they don't have any idea, you know, that it's the least production song, but something in there, I think, conveys something more real than when you overproduce.
It is Zaragoza. He's with us today. So tell us a little about how you got started doing the music thing. Just, you know, being a singer-songwriter with the band and...
Yeah, definitely. You know, started playing back in our hometown with the band back in Reno, Nevada, and we would play basically little parties every other weekend in my garage, and people would show up, and, you know, all teenage kids, and they just loved it, and they gave us something to do and kept us and other kids out of trouble. And we really built a following that way and built a lot of confidence because we got some feedback from you know, from these kids who ultimately became our fans. And so that kind of encouraged us to keep going with it. And eventually we turned 18 and moved down to Hollywood, California, and went to school there. And in Hollywood, California, we went to Musicians Institute and, you know, learned how to record professionally, learned how to book and all that good stuff, and started playing down there. And, Hollywood's a really fun scene to play. We'd play places like the Whiskey a Go-Go and, hang out at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, which is famous for, like, having rock stars hanging out there all the time. So we really got to build our name in L.A. through that. And, it's just something that it's my passion, it's where my heart's at. It's something that even if I wanted to stop, I never could stop doing, because that's what my soul needs, quenches my soul to just keep writing music, and hopefully people respond to it. If not, just keep writing,
Zaragoza with us today. He joins us live here in the broadcast. So you've been compared to the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix. Kind of talk to me a little bit about these.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say compared, but definitely influenced, heavily influenced. Trying to kind of pick up, that vibe. I think everything is secular in music, and when all that music came out back in the 60s, it was kind of a cultural backlash to what was going on during those times, the music that was going on during those times. So when guys like the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and Bob Dylan, when they came out, it was something completely different than what was going on at the time. And right now, I think we're kind of seeing a huge drop-off in hip-hop and rock and roll and metal, which has been popular in the 2000s, but, everything's going to come to a cycle and have its run. So hopefully I can pick up that torch and pick up where they left off. The message of all my songs is positive. It's hope-based, love-based, peace-based, something that, nowadays it's kind of forgotten about. People want to relate, or they were, at least in the past decade or two. It was more explicit lyrics and themes of, anger that people wanted to relate to, and I think that cycle is kind of coming to an end. So I just felt it was necessary for me to pick up, that message of peace again, that kind of like the 60s were putting out, and, the Beatles, All You Need Is Love, all that good stuff.
Zaragoza with us today. He joins us live here in the broadcast. So this song we're going to be playing here in a few moments. Tell me a little bit more about it. It is Brand New Life.
Yeah, definitely. Brand New Life. So that it's kind of a modern, folk-ish acoustic song. I'm playing the 12-string guitar, so it gives it that nice, full, kind of old-school sound, which 12 strings were popular back in the 60s. Guys like Led Zeppelin and, all those guys were doing the 12-string thing. And it has like this really rich, lush sound. And, it's a love song. And not only a love song, but it's also kind of hinting at, too, we can start a brand new life right in our minds. And, how powerful our thoughts can be on our reality. And I think if we were all just a little bit more positive and conscious of our unconscious thoughts, we could bring a lot more peace to humanity and forward us into a new generation. And, then it turns into verse, chorus, and then when the bridge comes, it opens up and it gets really bigger, and gets a little epic with like a theatrical drum kind of going on in the back, and some beautiful slide guitar going on, and the vocals kind of change up at the bridge. It gets a little more raspy, a little bit more rock and roll, a little bit more passionate, I guess you could say. And it's one of my favorite songs. I think a lot of people have been liking it as well, so hopefully the listeners enjoy it too.
Well, here we go. We're going to play it, and we're going to put you on hold, and we're going to come back and wrap things up here with Zaragoza. And here is the song. It is amazing. And check it out here on our world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. It is a great music video. We're going to play it for you right now. And Zaragoza is with us today. Brand New Life, and it is right now. We're back here in a few moments with Zaragoza.
tomorrow calling. Girl, can you hear the song it's singing? We could start a brand new life. Start a new life right in our mind. We can leave the thoughts behind. Trade them in for a vision of a better time. It's rather simple, baby. It's not that hard. Just keep a vision of our hearts. Of our hearts. Babe, it's no secret that you own me. Babe, lay down all your cards and show me. We could start a brand new life. Start a new life right in our mind. We can leave the thoughts behind. Trade them in for a vision of a better time. It's rather simple, baby. It's not that hard. Just keep a vision of our hearts. My love runs true. I'm just a man in love with you. Seeing the moon, we got nothing on you, man. My love runs true. We could start a brand new life. Start a new life right in our mind. We can leave the thoughts behind. Trade them in for a vision of a better time. It's rather simple, baby. It's not that hard. Just keep a vision of our hearts. My love runs true. I'm just a man in love with you. To see in the moon, we got nothing on you, man. My love runs true. It keeps me close to you, yeah.
That was Zaragoza, and that was a hell of an ending there, my friend. Why did you decide to just, out of nowhere, it's just over?
Why was it? Why did I decide to just have it cut out like that?
Yep, it just ended. Just boom, done.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. That's just kind of how I wrote the song, and I wanted to end it on a high note. Because you kind of take people through a roller coaster, and there's climaxes and peaks and valleys, and so it's like with that one, it started out slow and mellow, and then the bridge it builds up and then goes back down. So I just kind of wanted to end it on a boom,
Hell of a deal. It is Zaragoza. He's with us today here on our broadcast. So, once again, how do people buy your music and get involved with you?
Yeah, definitely. There's always the site, ZaragozaMusic.com. Instagram at Zaragoza_music. YouTube, Zaragoza, just look up Zaragoza Music. And Facebook, Zaragoza Musician. And if you do hop over to social media, be sure to drop a comment, say hi, and I'd love to hear from you guys, give you a shout out back.
Well, Zaragoza, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on and chatting with us. And good luck with your music, my friend. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. There he goes. Zaragoza. And that wraps it up here from our world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast.